The Northern Territory election is just 4 days away, and both the Giles government and the opposition are under pressure about their dealings with business. The country Liberals are being accused of giving a sweetheart deal to a coal seam gas company just before going into caretaker mode, and Labor is being accused of preparing to disrupt the taxi industry by letting in Uber. Reporter Jane Bardon joins me now live from Darwin. Jane, good afternoon. What is the CLP government saying about this coal deal?
Well, the government's saying that even though it's really changed its minerals exploration licence rules to give a US-based company, TriStar, 6 years exclusive rights to a massive piece of 15,000 square kilometre land south of Alice Springs, that basically it's sort of an administrative change, and that really it's been a decision of the Department of Mines and Energy rather than a political decision. But the opposition, Labor, is basically asking whether the government has been transparent enough about this deal, given that there's been no public mention of it at all, and it's only just been dropped into the Government Gazette the day before they went into caretaker mode.
Jane, how is Labor countering these accusations we mentioned from the taxi industry? This is over Uber.
Well, we saw basically about 60 taxi drivers demonstrating outside Labor's office today, very angry, basically saying that their industry and the few companies, particularly in the cities of Darwin and Palmerston, will be very disadvantaged if the ride service Uber is allowed to come in. And so the taxi drivers were basically accusing Labor of being anti-small business and bowing to pressure from a multinational company. But basically Labor is saying that if it does allow Uber in, and it has said that it does want to allow Uber into the Northern Territory, that it will discuss with the taxi industry how basically it could try and work in some kind of level playing field. But at this stage, the opposition leader, Michael Gunner, wasn't able to say anything about how that could be achieved.
Let's talk about our costings, Jane. We haven't yet seen election costings from either party. When are they due, and will they be important in this campaign?
The country Liberals are expected to release their costings later this afternoon, but interestingly, both sides basically put their costings into Treasury just yesterday. That's 5 days before the election day. So Treasury won't actually come back with its analysis for another few days. So for both sides of politics, it's going to be quite late, really, to let voters know that all your numbers of all your commitments add up. However, for the electorate, it'll be interesting to see whether that really is important to them, because often parts of the electorate will zero into those parts of the commitments that really are important to them, and the overall numbers about responsible economic management don't tend to really resonate with people until your next budget tends to come out.
Jane, 4 days to go. What's expected to happen on election day?
Well, interestingly, some of the recent polls that have been done in the local newspaper in the Northern Territory, and also the odds that the bookmakers are giving, have really said that the country Liberals are heading for a wipeout. But in the Northern Territory, where the electorates are very small, and where we also have for the first time the ability for people to just vote one in a first-past-the-post-like system, instead of having to do their preferences on the form, we might see some results that surprise in some electorates. So it's very difficult coming into the Northern Territory election to predict exactly what's going to happen, as we saw the last time round when Labor, which was in government then, thought that it had it in the bag, and the local newspaper was predicting the same thing. So really, at this stage, all sides are still going hard to try and get the election in the bag.
OK, Jane Bardon, thank you so much.